Shakuhachi, an end-blown Japanese flute made of bamboo. Buddhist monks called kamasos once wandered the Japanese countryside, playing the shakuhachi and searching for the one sound that would enlighten the world. Phil Nyokai James has been playing shakuhachi for over 25 years. He teaches students from up to 3 hours away at his studio in Portland, Maine.
Shakuhachi was originally intended as a tool for meditation. As you're learning it, you start to develop a new way of listening, not just to shakuhachi music, but to sound in general. There's a story of a great shakuhachi player, Wadazumi Dozo. A couple of engineers showed up at his apartment, which was in a very busy city. And he said, well, it's a nice day out, and threw open the window and started playing for them to record. And you could not hear the shakuhachi at all. All you could hear was the noise of the traffic. They played a little bit of it back to him and said, you know, this is no good. And he said, oh no, that's perfect. So there is that idea that whatever the sound happens to be is just what it is.
I'm Toji Perlman. I'm 27. I saw a flyer up for a shakuhachi teacher. I decided to take up the shakuhachi. I think shakuhachi is very difficult. Sometimes you can't get a pitch at all.
I think one of the most interesting things about a practice like shakuhachi is that whole paradox in that it's really supposedly about doing nothing and being open to whatever, but at the same time you have a rigorous discipline involved in doing it. Uncover the third hole, which brings you all the way up to a soft chi, and then down to an ichi-san no u, 1 and 3 open on u with a hit 4. Okay, you following? With shakuhachi, you're always taking a deep in-breath and then breathing out for the entire length of your breath over and over again. So just on its own, it really is very similar to many kinds of breathing meditation.
For me, breath is important because it's my connection to the outside world. If I'm breathing, I'm alive. And if I'm paying attention to my breath, then I'm paying attention to the fact that I'm alive.
My name is David Weiss. I'm 65 and a half years old, and I'm a student of the shakuhachi. As a psychotherapist, I do a lot of listening. My work is very much dependent on my ability to stay in the moment and be with people when they're talking. If I'm not present with my clients, they know it. And so the shakuhachi is very much like that, like really paying attention to the sound, to the breath, to the position of the chin. Just like my practice, I think there's a moment when I'm with someone, when they have this huge breakthrough, it feels like a very sacred moment, like I'm on holy ground. And when I play my shakuhachi, when I'm totally present to it, it does feel like holy ground.
I think that's one of the most important uses of music, is to kind of change our state and make us aware that there are other ways of being in the world besides our concern with the minutiae of making money and schedules.
My wife and I were just talking this morning about, I remember 30 years ago, where I was when I was doing in here. I may not have 30 years left, so how do I want to spend it? So when we get up in the morning, we don't ask, well, what do we have to do today? What do we want to do? I asked the question, and now we both ask, is how do you want to be today? And so when I pick up the shakuhachi, it's a reminder what I want to be is just awake and conscious to each breath and be present to whatever's there.
I notice how many people now walk around with earphones on all the time. I think for some people it's like the sounds of the city are uninteresting to them, and it's much nicer to be listening to some tunes on their iPod. For me, I'd rather work on training myself so that the sounds of the jackhammers and the traffic and everything else are relaxing to me. I think a really great performance of music is one in which, when the musician has stopped playing, you're still listening and you're still hearing what's going on around you as music.